All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. Hope you're having a great day. And my name is Anika, and I have with me Cathal today. So whenever you join us, please say hi, introduce yourselves, tell us your name, where you're from, and which school you go to. Okay, so in the meantime, we can introduce ourselves. Do you want to begin, Cathal?
Yes, my name is Cathal. I am from Ireland and I am a teacher in the Myes Milano Meravigli school, and I've been there for almost a year and a half now. Um, so I'm looking forward to get back hopefully soon.
Hmm. Okay. So you're hoping to go back. Is that what you said?
I want to go back to the school. I want to get
Uh,
like out of my
all right.
apartment.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Me too. It's been a long time. I miss you guys.
Yeah, it's mad.
So my name is Anika. I'm originally from Bangladesh, and I used to live in Malaysia for a long time before I moved to Italy about 6 years ago. So I can see some people joining us already. So welcome, and we're really happy to know about you, you guys. Tell us where you're writing from. So
Yeah.
I haven't seen Cathal in a while. How are you doing? Is everything good?
Doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, it's kind of it's been slow going.
Hmm.
And by slow I mean me. I haven't done anything. I I have looked at going to different shops and different
Hmm.
supermarkets, but
Hmm.
apart from that, nothing new.
Hmm.
Nothing new.
Yeah,
What about you? What about you?
it's the same here. Things are going slow. Although I have found like different things to do. Like every week I come up with something new to do. So
Nice.
that's been interesting. Yes. So
Very good. Very
sometimes
good.
sometimes a lot of time is what you need.
Mm,
So
exactly.
yeah. And so today we have a nice topic here. We're going to talk about booking at Myes. So,
This is so useful right about now.
oh yeah, everybody needs to book at Myes. So, book is a strange word because it can be a noun for a book, but it can be a verb to book. So, the verb to book is when you want to reserve something. Yeah, so if you book a table at a restaurant, you reserve the seat, or you book a flight ticket, so you reserve it, it's yours. So we're going to talk about something very important, booking at Myes,
So,
booking
so
lessons
important.
and things.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay. So we are, I'm sorry, sometimes I click at the wrong things. So, but everything is fine. So let's move on to the topic of today, to the plan of today. So in this focus activity, we are going to talk about days of the week and time. We're going to talk about Maya's vocabulary and practice booking a
Oh,
lesson. Mm-hmm. Right. So I
fantastic.
imagine some students speak in Italian when they book in general. But
Yes,
I
I
think
think so.
after this webinar,
Fingers
not
crossed
anymore.
they'll be booking in English.
Would be nice.
Hmm.
Okay. So is there anything else that you want to add, maybe, Carl?
To this, I mean, yeah, sure. I
Mhm.
mean, days of the week and time, the
Mhm.
vocabulary we're going to look at. I guess the one of the things we can look at is prepositions, because they're very important when we are talking about the days of the week, time, and then when you want to book a lesson, you need to know the correct prepositions to use.
Definitely. So let's get to it. Here is the first task. We are going to discuss these three questions. Those of you watching, please feel free to participate, write the number and your answers.
Please.
Please, yes. It's a light.
Otherwise, it's going to be a very short activity because we don't book anything at Myes.
Yeah. So, you want to take this one, Carl? What are the questions?
Yes. Right. So we have question number 1. Do you book activities on the phone or at school? We have number 2. Who is your consultant? Then we have number 3. When do you usually come to my English school? In the morning, afternoon, or evening? So we have a couple of different questions. So do you book activities on the phone? So worth noting, guys, the preposition we use with the phone, on the phone. So when you want to say that maybe if, for example, you are talking and you have your telephone and there is a person near to you and they're like bothering you, he's like, stop, I am on the phone. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in my experience, on is usually used for technological things or electronics,
Yes.
like
Yeah, stuff
listening
like
to music on the
online.
radio. Mm.
Hey, on the radio. Yeah, exactly. Or on
Yeah.
Spotify, on YouTube.
Mm. Yeah. On
Mhm.
is like a technology related preposition.
Yeah, even like the social media as well. It's like
Mm.
follow on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whereas at school, at is for the specific location. Yeah. So we say at
Mm.
school because it's the specific location.
Yeah.
Um, so tell us, do you book on the phone or at school? Then who is your consultant? So obviously we have lots of consultants. So we have like I think maybe 6 or 7 consultants in total in Milan. There are 3 in Milano Meravigli. I think 2 in Filzi and 2 in Montenero. These are not including the directors. But you could say to explain who it is, my consultant is, and then you add in, right. So we have in Meravini we have Stefania, Julia, and Manuel,
Hmm.
and then Jessica as well. Obviously, is our director. Do you remember? Do you know the Filzi consultants, Anika?
I know there is Julia, there is Veronica.
Oh, they're in Montenero, yeah.
Oh no, sorry, no, I don't know anybody in Filthy, to be honest. I know the
So
Montenegro consultants.
Montenero crew is for Julia and
Mm,
Veronica, and then the Filthy crew is Marco and Ketty, I believe, um,
okay.
if I'm not mistaken. If they're
Hmm.
still there after all this time, I don't know. But yeah, my consultant is,
Hmm.
and then you say their name.
Hmm.
And finally, the question: when do you usually come to my English school? In the morning, afternoon, or evening? So again, the preposition in the morning. So we say in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening is the way that we would say it. So maybe we can answer this last question because I mean, this we could say is when we work in the school. So when do you usually work in my English school, Anika?
Well, it really depends on the day and the week itself. So I work in the morning sometimes, in the afternoon sometimes, and in the evening sometimes.
Hmm.
So just one point to remember. So for with parts of the day, we say in and the article the. But somehow with night, you say at night, not in the night.
Yeah, yeah. In the night is like a phrase that you would say, like for I don't know, a long period of
Specific
time
night, I
during
think.
night. It's just not. Yeah, in the night. And you're like, oh God, right? It just sounds ominous and scary.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, some dark stuff happening in the night.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Voldemort,
absolutely.
Lord Voldemort showed up in the night.
Harry Potter references triggered, triggered. Harry Potter references triggered. Oh
Oh, you
God,
saw. That is a seriously Harry Potter spectacles.
I'm telling you. Oh, it'll get better. I'll get the wand in a minute. Hold on.
I remember
It's gonna get
Carl
better.
wearing a Harry Potter costume last Halloween
Oh yeah,
with the
it was a big
scarf and the
thing.
glass and everything.
And the most important thing of all, I had this his instrument of destruction.
Oh my God, what is it?
Da 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 da.
Ooh, what is? Oh, you have a wand.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
girl.
amazing. Where did you get the wand?
I actually got it on Via Torino. There is like a Harry Potter shop on Via Torino,
No way.
and
I have to find that shop.
I lost my mind. Safe to say, I went crazy. I bought too much stuff.
That's
You
nice.
know when
I
you
will
like you find something that you like, you just find
go
something that you like, and you're just like, oh God, oh I've spent too
there.
much money. Oh, but it's great.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So what Carl just showed us, it was a magic wand. So
It's very important to say
we're just
wand
gonna.
and not stick, because if you say, "Oh,
Mhm.
he showed us his magic stick," that could mean something a little bit different that maybe you're just not trying to say at all.
Yeah,
So stay away
wand.
from that.
Remember that. Yes. So so Harry Potter came to my mind because I'm reading it again because now that I
Ah,
have a lot of time, so I started it last week and now I am on the second book. So
nice.
it's
Are you
been a
reading it in
long
English or
time.
in Italian?
In English because I don't have the Italian versions and I found the English versions for free.
Oh, nice.
The Italian version is the next target.
Okay, okay. Yeah, there are a
Yeah,
lot. There are a lot of things available for free at the moment.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Thankfully.
yeah. Thank God.
So we're going to talk about days of the week. Do you remember the days of the week? So whoever's watching, feel free to participate. If you know them, you can just write them down. So you're going to put them in correct order. Here, there are some useful notes. Use the preposition on for days of the week. Okay. For example, I book my lessons on Monday. When do you like to have lessons? What activities do you do? Which days do you do them?
All
Okay.
right.
So Monday is the first day of the week. All right. In most countries, anyway. Um, I don't know if things have changed now, but when I was little in Bangladesh, Sunday was the first day of the week.
Oh,
Yeah, it changed for a bit, and now I don't know if it has changed back. So we had the days off on Friday and Saturday.
and then Sunday you guys would be working.
Yeah, that will be the first day. That was considered the first day, but maybe they have changed
Wow.
things. I haven't lived there in a while, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
all right. So
Because
what
like in
is
Ireland we would have like, because Sunday is always, that's like, oh, that's God's day and we can't do anything on that day. Not allowed to.
ah, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was because of some religious reasons as well that Friday was off.
Hmm.
But then to do business with the rest of the world, it can cause problems.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So what are the other days of the week?
Hmm.
So we've
I don't
got
know if
first
you've ever
Monday.
seen. I don't know if you've ever seen the funny scene from Friends. There's a scene from Friends where
Which one?
Joey tries to explain the days of the week to his friend Chandler by using a particular method. So he's like, "Look, man, if you're having trouble remembering it,
Mhm.
learn it like this: Monday, 1 day; Tuesday,
Uh-huh.
2 day; Wednesday? When? What? What day? Thursday, the third day. And I'm like, no, no, not the third day.
Ah, no, I don't remember that scene.
It's just
And
like
how did he remember?
peak.
Oh,
He's
okay.
peak. He's like, he's remember Thursday. It's the third day, and it's like Thursday's the third day. No, it's not. And he's like, yes, it
It's
is.
not the third
Monday
day.
one, Tuesday two. I know, right? This is just the peak of Joey's stupidity.
Yeah, he's a very silly character. I love all the
Very
characters,
silly
though. I mean,
character.
Friends wouldn't be Friends without any one of them, I think.
Absolutely. And
So,
did you hear HBO is doing a special with them?
oh, not really, really. So, are the same?
Yeah.
Are they using the same cast, or they have different actors?
So they're using the same cast, but I think it's like a reunion thing, but I don't know if they're going to be portraying their characters. I think they're just going to be portraying themselves, which is going to be
Oh,
weird. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't
Then
know
yeah,
about
that's
that.
not Friends. It's more like
Yeah, I know.
the
I'm like,
actors.
that's just famous people getting paid for sitting around.
Yeah, I want real friends back again. The story continues.
Give me Ross and Rachel. We were on a break. I want it.
Yeah, I think that's the most like common phrase of friends. We're on a break,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right?
It's brilliant. Okay,
Sure.
sorry, I interrupted there.
Oh no, no, I think it's interesting. So we have Monday. So the second day of the week is Tuesday. All right. So a lot of students confuse this one with other days, but remember with the t, Tuesday. Okay.
Tuesday.
So the next day is, so I am not going to show you guys the spelling yet because the pronunciation is quite different from the spelling. So let's
Oh
practice
God,
pronouncing it. How do you say it, Carl?
I say Wednesday.
That's right, Wednesday. So two syllables, guys. Wednesday. Wednesday. And when you write it, there is a whole silent syllable there. You do not say Wednesday, you say Wednesday. The D is silent here. The D and the E here is silent, Wednesday. Okay. So the next day after that is a little difficult to pronounce for some students as well. How do you pronounce that one, Carl?
Say Thursday.
Great. So if you've noticed, so Carl has used th for the first syllable, for the first consonant, Thursday. And
Mm-hmm.
the next day after that is Friday. I know that the use of I can be a little strange in English because different times you pronounce it differently. Sometimes E, sometimes I. In this case, you say Friday, not free, Friday. Right.
That's
So
great.
we have Saturday, and of course Sunday. Right. Um, Most of these, or probably all of them, have the stress in the first syllable, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. First syllable is emphasized more than the other syllables.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, what is your favorite day of the week, Hal?
Definitely Friday. Definitely.
And why is that?
Because it's the beginning of the weekend. It means the end of the work week, the start
Hmm.
of usually some sort of shenanigans, maybe some fun times with friends.
Hmm.
So yeah, something like that would be really enjoyable.
Yeah,
What about you? What was
me
your
too.
favorite day of the week?
I think I have to say both Friday and Saturday. So sometimes we do work on Saturday morning, so it depends on which week we're talking about. So
Hmm.
sometimes Friday is my favorite day, but the days I don't work on Saturdays, I work on Saturdays, probably Saturday is the favorite day.
Hmm. Hmm. Actually,
So,
like I love the like the. Have you ever looked up the origin of the days of the week?
not really.
Like the where they come from in terms of the origins. Like some people say it's from like Norse mythology, uh like Thursdays from Thor. Uh like Thursday is
Mhm.
Thursday. You've got Wednesday. Wednesday is like from Odin. Like Woden would be the Woden was
Oh.
like the Anglo-Saxon
Hmm.
term for Odin, and Friday is for Freya, which was Odin's wife. Was like, I'm like, I recently watched like a documentary on it. That's the only reason why I'm really interested in them. I was like, oh, this is
Really
revolutionary.
interesting.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah.
So you discovered it recently.
Yeah. Because I
Hmm.
was first of all, I was playing a video game about like Norse mythology, and so I was
Hmm.
like learn about it through that. And then I also
Well,
watched a documentary on it as
hmm.
well the other day. It was very cool.
Very interesting. Nice. Okay.
Fact of the day. Sorry.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice how when you have a lot of time, you get to learn a lot of things.
Mm,
Yeah, you have time to
absolutely.
explore things, which is really nice. So we are
Mm,
gonna move on to talking about time. So
right.
what's the time? So normally when you ask someone to tell you what time it is, so you just say what's the time, and when you respond, you start with it's blah blah blah. So we're gonna talk about the blah blah part. How do you actually tell time? So we have here different pictures of clocks, and we have to put the correct time in the correct alphabets. So if you so currently we don't have any viewers, but we're gonna explain the time for whoever will be watching later on. So
Hope, hopefully someone will watch later on.
so we have a list of different times here. So Kyle, do you want to read it out loud?
Yes, absolutely. So we have 10:30, 12 o'clock, 3:30, 5 o'clock, 8:30, 11:30. So I've pronounced those in a quite an American way, I think,
Hmm.
because 3:30 when there is a T and a Y, usually Americans don't pronounce the T very like they don't put much emphasis on it. They'll just say 30. Like stuff like
Hmm.
what are you doing or water. They'll say water, not water. Like I say
Yeah.
water. And like some people look at me and they're like, "Oh my God, that's very posh."
I
Yeah,
tend to say water as well. My T's tend to become like a D. You
yeah,
know, so I would say 30.
yeah. So like it's very funny because my cousins
Hmm.
are from America,
Hmm.
but obviously their parents are Irish, and
Hmm.
so they have like a strange mixture of accents.
Hmm.
So sometimes they sound very American, and then other times they sound very Irish, depending on what they're
Wow.
saying.
Wow. I think I really prefer the Irish accent. It's definitely to me it sounds more interesting. I think
Really?
American accent is yeah, it's less interesting. I mean, I
Okay.
wish I had a different type of accent.
I
But
mean, like
anyway,
my Irish accent isn't like a
mm.
proper Irish accent.
Oh really?
My you know
Is
my
it a mix?
parents. Well, it's a combination of a couple of different accents because my parents sent me to do speech and drama when I was younger, and so I like the accent of my hometown is
Mm.
like completely different to that
Mm.
of what I sound like,
Mm.
um, and so like people who visit me in my hometown
Mm.
who are not from Ireland,
Yeah.
they're very confused why
Why
people
your
sound
accent is
very
that
aggressive. They're like, why do they all sound so aggressive? I'm like, that's just what they sound like.
way? Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
accents are funny because to some people it sounds aggressive. To some people it sounds different.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get on with this. So we have. So before we start matching, we use so a few notes on how to tell time. When you use o'clock, it means that you're talking about an hour. a complete hour, like 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
2 o'clock. Um, so, um, and then you just tell the time according to the hour and the minute. So, for example, 10 is the hour and 30 is the minutes. Okay. So for the first alphabet, A, what time is it? What time is it? So we
Let me
can
have a
see
look
the
at
hour
this.
hand in 3, and the minute hand is in at 6, right?
Oh.
So I would go ahead and say 3:30. Okay,
Whereas
so
I
3.
might say something a little bit different. I wouldn't say 3:30. I would say 3:30.
Is it what comes to you like naturally?
Yeah.
The
Or
first one,
even
okay.
not even 3:30. I might just say 3:30.
Half 3, yeah. These are also very, very common. For me, it naturally comes to say 3:30 or 3:15. So half past, very important, guys. Half past is when you have the minute hand in at 6, right? So 30 past. Okay. So anything after, when the minute hand is after the hour, you always use the word past. And if the minute hand is before the hour, you use to. Well, it will be clearer when we do the other examples, I think. So let's try B. Do you want to take this one, Kyle?
Yeah. So here we can see the hour hand is pointing towards 8, and the minute hand again is pointing down to 6. So we
Mm-hmm.
know that this one is 8:30, or again, as we said in the previous example, we can also say 8:30. So the difference between these two kind of phrases, guys, is generally just the UK and the US, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
That when you say 3:30, 3:30, that's generally more of a British term,
Mm-hmm.
or certainly like more of the European time telling peoples, whereas Americans, Canadians,
Mm-hmm.
people from that end of the world would probably
Mm-hmm.
say 8:30 more often.
That's right, like me. Somehow,
There
most of the
you
things I say sounds American. So anything that is not American that sounds like a different accent is so interesting to me.
go.
All right, so we have C here. It's a complete hour. So the hour hand is at 7, so 7 o'clock. Um, or also, depending on exactly whether if it's which part of the day, you can say either AM or PM. So if it is and when the sun is still out, it's 5 a.m. Sorry, 5 p.m. And when it is dark, it's 5 p.m. or
Mhm,
5 in the morning. Okay.
exactly.
So another thing I hear students, another mistake I hear students make is 5 o'clock a.m. But you don't do that. You either
Mm,
say 5 a.m. in
or five
or
o'clock.
5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, things like that.
Yeah. So you either choose to say it very, very quickly and short, or you can choose to say the longer way.
Hmm,
There's no
exactly.
kind of mixture of the two. Otherwise, it just sounds strange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's not
what
like a
about,
half. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Gal. So,
No, no. I was just gonna say that, like another example, like we don't say 7:30 p.m. We say 7:30 p.m.
yeah, exactly.
All
Also,
right.
another thing I just remembered that a lot of students say 17 o'clock, like they use the 24-hour clock.
Uh
In English, you can't do that.
no.
It has
Yeah.
to be
The
a
the
12-hour
the
clock.
the 24-hour clock is generally only used with like army people. I'm pretty sure they'll use like like the 2200 hours. We need it. We need a drop or something like that. They'll use like it's
Yeah.
0800. I'm like, oh god, 0800. What is that? It's like the beginning of some sort of hotline or something.
Yeah. I'm really serious.
Yeah. So we don't use the 24-hour clock when speaking
Mm,
English. When it goes to 12 at midday, we just
mm,
go back to 1 again.
exactly.
So the picture D, then the next picture on the list, as you can see, well, there's only one line, so this can only mean one thing. Both hands are pointing up. The two hands are pointing up. It is 12 o'clock.
Yeah. And if it is 12 a.m., what do we call that, Carl?
So 12 a.m. is midnight, and 12 p.m. is midday.
Yes. Um, so 12 p.m. is. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't really say 12 in the morning, do we? It is very
Uh,
true.
Not
Yeah.
really. No, it's not that. I mean, you
Midnight.
could
Yeah.
say it, but I mean, 12 in the morning, like I think might confuse people.
Yeah. Don't say that. Sorry about the confusion. So midnight or 12 a.m. Or noon as well, I guess. So you could say noon
For midday, yeah, you could say
or
noon.
midday, which is where the word afternoon comes from.
Oh my God, mind blown.
I know, right? So I'm gonna reveal the answer here. And then let's talk about E. So this is really similar to A and B. We have the minute hand at 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is um,
Big decision here, Anika.
10:30.
Yay! We did it.
I feel like we're living in like in a world where analog clocks are getting extinct. Like I was watching a
Yeah,
video the other day when they were
everything.
talking to millenniums and they can't read the analog
Yeah,
clocks anymore. Like analog
it's
clocks are the
incredible.
ones
It's
like this.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And I just
Like
realized the same thing is
I have an
happening to
analog
me.
clock here.
Like, oh, I love it. I love analog clocks, to be honest.
What what time is it? What time is it?
Same.
Oh God. So here you go. I don't know if it's backwards or not.
I mean, I saw the time already, so when you asked me what time it is, I instinctively just looked at the digital clock in my computer. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ashamed
This
of
is it.
this.
And people say like that the most common thing that people use their phones for is to tell the time. So they just click open the thing and they just look at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
That's the most common use for a phone.
yeah, it's true.
It's crazy.
So 10:30 could be 10:30 a.m., p.m. We don't know. What about the last one?
I
Obviously.
wonder what it could be. Very difficult.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Right. So
Of
maybe it
course,
is
11:30.
11:30. Oh yay, we got it. Right. So again, 11:30 could be AM or PM, or it could be half past 11
Yep.
or half 11.
So you mentioned earlier, Anika, that we use the preposition to when the minutes are before the hour. So if we're to
Mhm.
take, for example, the current time. So at the moment, I don't know about your clock, but my clock is saying 1937, which is right around, let's just say 7:35. Let's just put that as the time, right?
Okay. Okay.
So 7:35.
Hmm.
This is not 35 to, we say, because we want to look at the amount of minutes that
Hmm.
are remaining until the hour. And so if it is 7:35,
Hmm.
we say that this is 25 to 8.
Exactly.
So
You
like
subtract the time.
25 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah. So in effect, when we say 25 to, that means it's 25 minutes to the next hour. And similarly, when it's at some sort of hour with 40, we'd
Hmm.
say 20 to uh, whatever the hour is. So in this case, I'm just going to write 20 to 9,
Hmm.
right? Uh, 15 minutes. We don't say 15 to, we say quarter to, right? Quarter to,
Yeah.
10 to, 5 to, all those different ones. I think it's kind of similar to the way that Italians tell time,
Yes. So if there
right?
is anyone Italian watching, so two would be equivalent to meno because we subtract it from the hour. Okay.
You know.
And yeah, that's it. So hope this was clear. And so we're going to talk about some activities. What activities do you do and when do you do them? So we have some pictures here. We can either use these um, listed here, or we could use our own activities, I guess. So we have go swimming, read books, and when do you do them? I go swimming on Tuesday at 8:30. So in these days, for example, so let me ask you, Carl, when do you go to
Yeah.
bed? So that's one thing for sure you do.
Well, yeah, that is one thing I do, but it changes a lot. The time changes. I usually go to bed at midnight,
Okay.
midnight or 11 p.m.
Okay. So at midnight, so notice again, um, we're using preposition at for time. So I'm going to write that down.
Yep.
What Carl said, I usually go to bed at midnight or at 11 p.m.
Hmm. Now I go to bed, but that doesn't necessarily mean I go to sleep at that time.
That's true. Sometimes it takes time to fall asleep,
Yeah.
especially if you sleep in during the day. So, which happens to me
Yes.
a lot these days. So, I wake
Absolutely.
up late, and which causes me to go to sleep very late, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And all right. So, let's look at some other activities here. What time is your next lesson? Well, um, okay, so this is something that we can talk about. So because we have
Yeah.
lessons, webinars as well. So when is your next lesson or webinar, if you have any, Carl?
Well, my next lesson is at 8 o'clock this evening.
Okay, and me too. I have
I have a
not a lesson,
webinar.
but a webinar at 8 o'clock. And
Hmm.
all right. So what time is your next appointment? I think we could take the same thing as appointment. Or do you have any appointments, Carl? Like a dentist or something?
No, I have nothing planned yet. um, I no, I don't have any appointments. See, because yeah, appointment as you said, it's usually for like a doctor or
Mm,
a dentist, maybe an appointment with like a lawyer or a therapist, perhaps, or even as we say, appointment that you have is with your consultant in the school.
exactly. So I think I have an appointment. I was supposed to have an appointment in April at the immigration office, but they put it off until July.
Ah,
So my next appointment
okay,
is in July.
right.
Okay. Now, we're going to look at some sentences that we can use when booking a lesson. So read the sentences. Who is speaking, the student or receptionist? So let's talk about it. Hello, how are you? Who would normally say that, Cathal, the student or receptionist?
Ah. This is probably going to be the receptionists, I mean, I don't know if our receptionists are this polite, but maybe they are.
All right. And the next one, I'm fine, thanks. Can I book a lesson? So I think, I'm sure it's the student who would say that.
Hmm.
And do you want to take the
Yeah.
next one, Carl?
Yeah. So then the receptionist then would say after that, when are you available? This is the receptionist responding to them, to
Mm-hmm.
which the student would say in the afternoon or whatever time is best for you. Right? If you say in the afternoon, this is just one example. You could also say in the morning, in the evening, whenever.
Exactly. All right. So let's talk about when are you available. So many possible answers. You can say either in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening.
Hmm.
Um, there's lesson 3.1 on Tuesday in the morning. So this is something that the consultant might say. So the student may want to ask what time or when. It's the same thing to ask what time or when.
Yeah.
It's at. So keep in mind, it's at is used for talking about time. 10:30 or 10:30 or 10:30, like we talked about before. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Do you think we have missed anything, Carl?
Um, no, I mean maybe instead of the lesson, people might
Mhm.
say there's focus in 2 to 3.
Mhm.
There's focus, whatever the level is on whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So so we have a conversation here, but the questions and answers are not in order, and we have to put them in order.
Oh,
So here we have, good morning, how are you? We have, that's great, thank you. You're welcome. Remember to do your warm up. See you next week. What time? It's at 10:30. I'm fine, thanks. Can I book a lesson, please? When are you available? In the morning. There's lesson 3.1 on Thursday in the morning. Okay. So if we were to put them in order, I think the first one would be the first sentence. Good morning, how are you?
mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I show them, then the whole thing will be gone. So oh, I'm sorry. Um, so what would you say next? What do you think would be the next one, Carl?
So I'd say the next one would probably be, so if someone said, the receptionist says, good morning, how are you? I
Hmm.
mean, immediately you respond to that question, say, I'm fine, thanks. Can I book a lesson, please?
Right. And then I would go ahead and say, okay, when are you available?
Yeah. Then the student would say in the morning.
Hmm. And then I would say, mm, there's lesson 3.1 on Thursday in the morning.
Hmm. To which the student would say, what time?
And I would say it's at 10:30.
Then I guess the last one for the student would say, that's great, thank you.
And then consultant would say, you're welcome. Remember to do your warm up. See you next week. So very important,
Ah,
guys.
yes.
Warm up before the lessons. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's always a chance to remind them about the warm-ups and digitals.
Yeah. So we have the whole dialogue that we talked about here. Okay. So these are really common expressions. Thank you. The response to thank you is you're welcome. Um,
Hmm.
okay. So the other should be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have some practice here. The conversation that we discussed is written here, but with some blanks that we have to complete. So the first one goes, good. Mm, how are you? So depending on the part of the day, you would greet the student in different ways. So it could be good morning, good evening, good afternoon. etc. Oops, I'm sorry. I was thinking that the answer was there, so I just clicked and it went ahead to the next slide. Okay. So what would you say for, how would you complete be, Carl?
So yeah, I mean the common response, if somebody asks, "How are you?" the most common thing to say is, "I'm fine, thanks." It's the most common thing to say. But I guess
Yeah.
you could say, "I'm good, I'm great, I'm
Mm.
okay." All of these are kind of acceptable.
Yeah, sorry. So for to the question, when are you available? You could say in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. And
Hmm.
then there's lesson, and then you talk about lesson number on. So we have mentioned this before. On is used for days, on Monday,
Yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. In the, and then the part of the day. Okay. So for what time? You mentioned the time. It's so as we mentioned before, you use the preposition at and the time. So it's at 10:30. It's at 20 past 8. We never have 20 past 8 lessons, but it's at 5 o'clock and so on.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I
So
think,
unfortunately, we don't have we don't have a consultant with us to practice booking an actual lesson. But what we could do is just encourage you to try to book your next lesson or your next activity through English, because the receptionist at your school, your consultants, are all able to speak English, and I think would be very impressed if you tried to book your lesson in English the next time if you wanted to. Um, but I guess unfortunately we're out of time in unfortunately for this webinar. Um, do you want to wrap up, Anika, or do you want me to wrap up?
yeah, sure, I can do it. So I hope you have found this webinar useful and that you practice later on. Um, so yeah, thank you for watching, and that's it from us.
Yeah,
Have a great evening.
guys, thank you so much. Have a good evening.